Good afternoon, everyone. This is Karl recording live from Bedford, Pennsylvania on Tuesday, September 20th, 2022. And here is my weekly podcast, the results of my predictions for NFL, for the 2022 NFL season, week 2. So far, it seems like I'm consistently average in my picks, but at least I'm consistent. There were some surprises and things that went the way I expected. So let me just get into it. I'll go into discussion on a couple of games in detail a little bit here. First of all, what came out as a surprise, I predicted Baltimore to beat Miami. I figured the game was going to be close, but I figured Baltimore would come out with the win, and apparently not. They couldn't do it. So this is. I thought Miami was going to be okay, but apparently Miami is turning out to be better than expected. So that was a shock. Another shock. The Patriots at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh losing at home to the Patriots. That I did not expect. I thought Pittsburgh would handle it well, but apparently not. Pittsburgh must be having some problems. There's my phone. I get at least 10 or more spam calls per day, so that's just the way it's going to be. Whatever. It's annoying as hell. But okay, let me get back to this. And this one was really really a shocker. The New York Jets come back against the Cleveland Browns for the win, and apparently the Cleveland Browns fans are just absolutely furious, and I can't blame them. That shouldn't have happened. I don't expect the Jets to be very good. That was a fluke. Either that or just Cleveland is just really bad. I don't think the Jets are, and to beat Cleveland on their own turf, that just came out as a shock. Okay, the next one, Cincinnati and Dallas. I picked Dallas to get the upset on there because the way Dallas played in the beginning. Cincinnati, I think Cincinnati's got troubles. So yeah, Cincinnati is not going to be as good as I think they've got the Super Bowl hangover. They lost the Super Bowl, and it's showing it. And likewise with the Rams. I'll get to them in a bit. But they have the Super Bowl hangover too. Anyway, Houston and Denver. Denver got the win at home, which is what I expected. I didn't see anything too dramatic with that game. Another unexpected win was Jacksonville. This was unexpected for both teams. I thought sure Indianapolis would bounce back from the tie and win, but no. So apparently Indianapolis, the Colts, have a lot of issues to deal with. I was surprised. I don't think Jacksonville is as good as what they're turning out to be. They're the only one with a win in that division, so that's a real shock. So then we had the Chiefs and the Chargers, and that was the Thursday night game. And I had Kansas City I picked that one correctly. Kansas City beating the Chargers. Chargers look good, though. I saw a little bit of the game, and I didn't realize that the Chargers have Khalil Mack on defense now. Apparently, they got him from the Raiders. And that seems to be Chargers. This was an expected loss, but the Chargers they're going to be a team that's going to be giving people nightmares and headaches throughout the year. So we'll see where that goes. I thought the Raiders were going to be better. We got the Arizona Cardinals. They beat the Raiders, and since this was at Las Vegas, I thought for sure the Raiders were going to get that one, but apparently not. I think the Raiders are better than what they're doing so far, but who knows? Maybe they have issues that none of us know about. Now this one I was picked correctly because the Carolina at the Giants. This makes the Giants 2-0, but I think the New York Giants are I think they're playing above their heads, and I think it's going to eventually catch up to them. I don't think the Giants are a real good team. I think the Giants are average, and they'll end up with a kind of an average record in the year. So, but again, it was Carolina. They were playing Carolina, and Carolina just is not a good team. So, two terrible teams playing each other, and the better team won. Another game that I predicted, the Washington Commanders at Detroit. I knew the way Detroit played against the Eagles. I knew, well, first of all, they needed to bounce back from the loss. They couldn't go down 0-2. Coach Campbell. I did a podcast. I did a YouTube live stream this morning, going over Coach Campbell and Detroit. So on my YouTube channel, if you missed my live stream, head over there and watch my live stream, because I've got a lot to say about Coach Campbell and the Lions and Detroit, and too much to say in this podcast. But I was right on that one. Detroit did bounce back, and they bounced back a lot better than I expected. And I think they bounced back a lot better. Detroit teams are better start worrying about the Lions, because Lions are going to be scoring a lot of points no matter who they play. And it's a long season, so you never know. Things can happen, but they're banged up, and they came out with a win. That says something about the coaching, and just the overall excitement about the team and that. And then the following game, the next game, I correctly predicted. We got the Chicago at Green Bay. There was no way in hell the Packers were gonna go down 0-2, especially since their first loss was to Minnesota. They played terrible against them, lost that. It's not that Minnesota is that much better. I think Green Bay just had a terrible game, and they bounced back at home against the Bears. It's tough to win in Green Bay, no matter. So the Packers at home are probably going to win all their games against the division rivals, because it's just too tough to beat in Green Bay unless something happens to Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers, something happens to him, well, that changes everything for that whole division, actually, not just Green Bay. So I got that one right. They didn't bounce back. And then the Minnesota and the Eagles, I didn't really see that. I saw the score, and it looks like the Eagles did put a number on Minnesota. So they won, and I figured that was going to happen. Now we have everyone in the NFC North. They're all 1-1. And so with the Lions coming up and playing Minnesota next week, it's going to be huge. It's going to be in Minnesota. I haven't made my prediction on that yet. I kind of, sort of. I need to see who, the injury report for both teams before I do any predictions on that. But it's going to be huge. And this, how the Lions play, regardless of the win or loss, it's going to show a lot about Coach Campbell. He has them fighting in every single game. So it's just going to be interesting to see. It's going to be a tough game for them next week. So, and then the next game, Tennessee at Buffalo. Buffalo manhandled Tennessee, which is Buffalo is just playing lights out. They're 2-0, and they're just steamrolling everybody so far. So we'll have to see if that continues. But so far, I haven't seen any kind of weakness in Buffalo at all. They're just all around a good team. Every unit, offense, defense, special teams, you name it. They're there and they're going to burn you on each of the units, and that's something that Dan Campbell is stressing, and something that the Lions are doing, which I have never seen the Lions do. And I've been watching the Lions. Now, I started as a fan in 1968, but in the last few years, I've decided that I'm no longer a Lions fan, but I am keeping an eye on them. I'm keeping an eye on Buffalo, so I really like those are my two top teams. But I'm doing more just NFL stuff in general, but probably with more of an emphasis on Buffalo and emphasis on the Lions and probably more so the Lions than anybody else. So even though I'm no longer a Lions fan, I'm just happy as hell to see that what Dan Campbell has done. So we will know more as the season progresses. The next game, the Rams, Atlanta. Matthew Stafford squeaked one out against the Falcons, which is not a good team. I'm really starting to wonder about Matthew Stafford. Is Matthew Stafford overrated? I may be doing a podcast on that. I mean, he's a good quarterback, but if he doesn't take the Rams to another Super Bowl, if he doesn't get them back-to-back and they just have an average thing, then I would really have to say that Matthew Stafford does not really belong in the elite quarterback status. He's good. I mean, he's got all kinds of records, so you can't take that away from him. But so far, he's got one Super Bowl win under his belt. And I think the Rams are going through the Super Bowl victory hangover. So it just depends on how the rest of the season goes. Right now, I'm saying that Matthew Stafford is a good quarterback, but I don't put him in the elite status yet. I don't put him in the same group as a Brady or the same group as a Rodgers or anybody like that. Definitely he's not in the same league as Mahomes. That just goes without saying. He's not mobile. He's got a good arm, but there's a lot of things about Matthew Stafford that can be said that is a problem. It could be a problem for the Rams. So anyway, well, I got that pick right. Next one was Tampa Bay and New Orleans. Now, this one I picked as an upset. I thought the Saints were gonna upset Tampa Bay. It was a long shot on my part. I just thought maybe Tampa Bay was going to come out flat in New Orleans, because New Orleans is a tough team to beat in their own stadium. But then now that they don't have Sean Payton as head coach, that's probably changes. So they're under a different regime now. So, but I thought I predicted an upset, but I was wrong. Tampa got the win, and I correctly picked the 49ers, even with the injury. Garoppolo came back, and he's looking good as ever. But the 49ers are going to need a backup, because if Garoppolo goes down, then basically that's it. That's the season's over for San Francisco. So they're going to need something. It just something just in case something happens to Garoppolo. So and you got to remember, he's still coming off an injury, so it won't take much for a team. Just going to be a freak thing for him to get re-injured. So I don't really care for the 49ers that much. In fact, I really don't like them, but I don't want to see any of their, and it's too bad. Prayers are going out to their starting quarterback who got injured. Hopefully he can go through rehab and bounce back again, because tough injuries like that are hard to watch, and I don't want that for anybody. I don't care if I don't like the team or anything. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. It's a rough game. People are going to get hurt, and they just want the players that gets injured to be able to bounce back. And sometimes some of these injuries are career-ending injuries, and that's just a shame, especially if it's somebody that has a lot of potential. I was at a place with a giant TV, and I remember it was the New York Giants and the Washington team. I won't say their old name. I just won't. But Joe Theismann was going back, but on a huge screen, you could actually see the injury. I had to turn my head because I couldn't watch it because the way his leg, that was a career-ending injury, and that was gruesome. It wasn't a cheap shot by the Giants in any way, shape, or form. I can't remember if it was Lawrence Taylor or what that made the play. But they had a good defensive line, so they were all four of them. They were good, and Washington just couldn't keep up with it, and it was tough to watch. That was terrible, and it was just, I don't like Washington, but again, it was sad to see Joe Theismann end his career on that, and it's too bad. But injuries are part of the game. Never like to see career-ending injuries. Never like to see any injuries at all. And that's just the part of the business. I've got 2 blown-out knees. Never made it into any team or anything like that. But I mean, I tried, but wasn't the biggest person in the world. So anyway, well, my final results were 10 correct picks and 6 incorrect. So, and last week I was 9, 6, and 1. So basically the same. So as I said, I'm average on my picks, and so I'm consistently average. And we'll just have to wait and see what goes on. We'll talk to you next week when after all my picks come through, right or wrong, next Tuesday. So take care and have a good day.